Bonjour. We have two books right here, and a third book on the teachings of Buddha. I won't go over that. That's self-explanatory. That's dealing with the law of karma. The energy you put out to people is the energy you get back. All right. That's why I always advocate for people to act like adults. But let's get on into it. This first book is a German book. And we also know that a lot of doctors do a lot of German diagnosis in the so-called black community, the hoods, the ghettos. All right. And we also know that German is intertwined into our culture. We have a lot of black people with last names that are German, like Kaiser, Kilgore, Goldberg, Lincoln. So like that's one thing that we need to take note of. We need to know our history. And this language right here is ours. So you also can see there's a connection between Albania, which is a new land, and Germany. So you can look at it. The John Griswold White Collection of Folklore. So this book was in Cleveland. There's no telling where it was prior to that. And you see right here, you see a dark-skinned man who favors an American with a turban on his head, and he has no shirt on. So you will see people with the last name Savage in the Americas who are indeed like this man right here with feathers in his head. Tag Negro, black, colored, come from that lineage line. And these names right here, Lambarts, Pac Messi. All right, so here it is, Public Library, February 25th, 1924, which marks the month of Black History in Cleveland, Ohio. So this is an old book. All right, so let's do a little bit of translation. Lection, lecture, lection, lecture, letter. All right. And pronounce the sound, you would see that German has a lot of integrating with Spanish. All right. A lot of Mississippians have a Spanish origin, French origin. All right. It just goes and tell with the hearings that we hear in history about Al-Andalus, the last stronghold of the Moors. All right, so I love this language. I love writing in this language. All right. And you can see right here, a plural meaning for mora, which could be dole. And you know that's a brand for like pineapples. And you know Dole brand is sold in a lot of impoverished areas, like Dole juices, Dole fruit. So this is not an endorsement to eat it, but that brand is ours. So let's move on to the next book real quick. Let me get some pronunciations in, because I love speech. Bate, mi, idoli. machete, ahem, birinkati, gajuna. All right. So this book right here was made by a man named Joseph Foster with the collaboration of others. Because this right here is an exclusive book, and this is our history. All right, so you can see she has her hair flat iron, and she has on knee protectors. So she's obviously equipped for the job. I mean, she's standing on business. Now look at this right here. This right here is 1 pound of titanium. Titanium is good for your bones, and it's also good for submerging in water. And we have right here aluminum. We have a lot of people who like to scare people from using aluminum, but aluminum is also good for you. It has medicinal effects as long as it is pure and it is used within the right refinements. All right, so I'm not advocating using deodorant. I don't advocate to use deodorant because that is a concoction that many don't know the origin of. Especially when you have a high demand and a high supply, it's never good. It means they did some back cutting on it. It means they did some shortcuts. All right, so get some of this. This right here absorbs water very easily. Aluminum doesn't, but titanium does. Like titanium is used for hair clippers. It is used for a lot of carpenter tools. So this is good. Definitely want to have this. All right. So right here we have heraldry. This right here looks like the family crest of Hoover. But Hoover, that family crest, it identifies with the same color. So this would probably be like another clan. That looks like Duwat. Griffith. It's probably down here somewhere. So you see right here, Griffin and Hoover, they're related. One thing that I see people do when they have back and forth, or I could say dialogue, they like to separate themselves from the people who they're talking to, whether it be a debate, whether it be a casual miscounter. They separate themselves, but they never identify to ask the person, what is their family crest, or what is their family name, or what is their nobility, what role do they belong to, like a role of a royalty. Are they a duke, are they a baron, are they a chief, who are they? And this right here, this symbolism is heavy in Chicago. Blue, gray, black, blue, yellow, UCLA colors, Georgetown. So like, take note of that, because this is your history and you need to know it. All right. So you can see right here, David Griffith, John Griffith, Udan Griffith, Owen Griffin, and Owen is the last name too. And you can see right here we have a long list from like the 17th, the 16th century of genealogies and intermarried families. So you see James, you see Margaret, you see Carolyn, You see Madeline, Elizabeth, Helen, Mary. Some of these names are in my closest relation of family members. Obviously, these names exist if you're going back in our families to the 15th, 16th century. They exist. So I kind of see like genealogy as being important, but not important as DNA. So you have Sir Richard, Sir Hastings, and this heraldry right here, it has Latin under it. This looks like medieval. So you have Virtus, Tatissima, Cassis. So this may be somewhere along the lines of Kentucky. All right, so you see Germany in there, Albania, all right, Scotland. So this is us. And this right here, obviously, Joanne D. Hyrix or Hyrix. It sounds like Heinrich, and see, that's another thing. Like I grew up in an era where we watched Chicago Bulls play, Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, Captain Kirk Heinrich, who else? Eddie Curry, Tyson Chandler. Like this right here, this matches the color of the Chicago flag. All right. So pay attention to the H's, and where they belong. Howard, Hoxton, Hayes, Haynes, Haughty, Hawley. And all our vernaculars and our speech phonetics are different when you talk about the black community. Like we all sound different. But you can tell through our DNA makeup, we all look the same. Like we all share the same texture of hair. So that's also another way you can combine the fact that we didn't come from anywhere. We always traveled nomadically in caravans, and you can see that throughout circuses. That culture is identified very extensively. We never went land to land without first acknowledging one another or consulting one another. Again, so this information right here, sable, you hear about du sable, sable, that means ebony or black. That's the appropriate word to use. If you don't, I hear a lot of people say like, I don't like the word black. Use sable. If you identify with being Indian, use gauze, because that means red. Argent, which can mean green as well. Azure, ermine. Like these are the appropriate words to use to identify yourself. But me personally, I like to identify as, Baptist, Muslim. I like to identify, a lot of things, but, it's all in good faith. We need to identify with one another, because if you don't identify with a word, you're alienating people who know things, who may not can defend themselves because they're not there at the moment. But, don't necessarily just throw a word away because, again, this is our history. These letters mean something. So just don't look at the word and the definition or the connotation that it kind of grew to take on. So Edmund, Earl, these are titles, man, and they're very important to know of. I love this right here, this heraldry. Okay. It looks like a headband with shingles on the side of them, on a blue shield. And this right here is Henry, Duke of Lancaster. All right, so that will be somewhere along the east coast of America. All right. You know, the east coast is where we're from. That's where we're situated at. The east coast will be described as the woodlands. You know, it's a lot of trees, a lot of forestry on the east coast. And as you get further west, you have a lot of sand region, a lot of desert or desert. All right. We all have an uncle or a grandfather named Charles. Ross. Okay, right here we have a heraldry with colors of Solomon, blue. And you can see that is a transliteration of Solomon, Simon. All right, Do Malone. All right. So we indeed are the original Europeans. Some people don't want to acknowledge that history. You know, we talk government. And, you know, some of the people who were associated with us kind of veered off and did things, you know, their way. And they kind of messed things up. As you can see, if you see a person of high intelligence and they're in government, and, you know, some people would say they're responsible for what we are indeed encountering right now in this age. And it's unfortunate. So right here you can see a little Islam in the heraldry. So don't separate Christianity and Muslim traditions. You know, they're the same thing. As you can see, they both have heraldries. And this looks like something you would see along the coast of Florida or South Carolina. So English, regardless of the fact, is also Arabic. So let's not make a fool of ourselves and get in arguments about Hebrew, Israelite, and Islam. We're getting caught up in semantics without paying attention to the snake that's in front of us. Viscount. And that's a title that's dying out. Rydell. River. Write more. And I'll close on this. And you can see these coat of arms right here. You can find this throughout the states. In different state governments, you can find this. You can find this behind a flag. You'll find this flying with the flag. All right. Kai paise, kai paise, kai paise, kai paise, kai paise. Or Q passe, Q pense, Q pense. And that obviously just means out of your league, royal. Dealing with quo, you're dealing with quotas. So that's numbers. That's a P, so you're dealing with perfection. All right. So we herald our women to a high esteem. All right, and got the lion managing Little Mermaid, Little Sea, eloquent. All right, so that can mean they're becoming rare, extinct, or that could also mean they're still here. You got the sword symbolizing a scimitar with the rose. All right, plotted throughout the four earths. Wheel of Fortune, pick your poison. So we 20 minutes in. All right. Let's leave off on this note. Great peace. Great travels.